Hi, this is Wishop, and this is a card reading for Mercury Retrograde, which is from December 3rd, 2017 through December 24th, Christmas Eve, 2017. So, Mercury Retrograde is often a time that people dread because it has inconveniences and difficulties and miscommunications, and all of that static is likely to be possible in this one too. But I don't think that's the major opportunity here, because I think that you can do more, or we maybe can do more than just survive the inconveniences. Most of these inconveniences ought to be able to be rectified. And in fact, the message that I'm still getting, astrologically and with cards and stuff, is that things that you have to redo, you may be able to upgrade. That is still going to be a possibility. Saturn is going to change signs at the end of the month. And Chiron is going direct just 2 days after Mercury retrograde. Saturn is at the closing degrees of Sagittarius, which is where Mercury is going retrograde. And so Mercury and Saturn are dancing across each other's paths. And it's creating this urge to nail things down, to get things firmed up before the end of the year. That is an urgency. And you will see it in the cards too, because I already did this video before and I screwed it up and now I'm having to do it again. Hopefully that means this will be an upgraded version and it'll be better. One thing that I had thought of as a theme for this Mercury retrograde is the do-over. That's nothing strange when it comes to Mercury retrograde, but combined with the Gemini full moon and some other elements, this is a do-over where you are not trying to go backwards to something you had. You are trying to drag something with you into your new transformation. And I'd already sort of decided to say this is a time when you've cut things out or things have been cut out in your life because it's, happened on both sides. And now those things may come back around, or you may want to come back around. And there is a real need to have compassion for the do-over. Because even if you don't want to restart a relationship or renew a project with something, or a project with someone, even if you don't want to go back to something, even in a new way, even if the terms were renegotiated, you're still not interested. Showing compassion and understanding for the person who is extending that offer to you is going to be important, because you may have an area in your life where you're going to need a do-over, and you're going to want someone to at least be compassionate and to hear you out. So it might go well, it might not go well, but it will probably go better if your aims are true. Right now, there's still that favorability towards truth and towards getting things out in the open and having high ideals. So if you're trying to, let's say you got rid of a big group of people in your life for an organization or something. I'm saying got rid of, but let's say you moved away from them and now you realize there are one or two people that you wish you could still hold on to, and you make overtures to them to say, is there a way that maybe on the side we could still work on projects, or maybe there's a way that we can still maintain relationships? That's the kind of thing that we're talking about. This isn't going backwards. It's, is there a place for something from your past to fit in a healthy way into your new future? So that's the kind of energy we're talking about. I have already been approached by my first do-over, and it was even after I sort of decided the theme I wanted to work on. And somebody showed up out of nowhere saying, oh yeah, we stopped doing that thing together and maybe we should try that again. I think that was a mistake to quit. We should do that again. And then I got contacted by another person who said, that thing you were always telling me to do and I never did, I really kind of think I should take the opportunity and try that. So what do you think? So there's a lot of do-over stuff going on, and you may experience that too. So let's go into the cards. I chose the Animal Totem Tarot again because the cards are beautiful and they read really well. Here it is, Animal Totem Tarot by Lisa Robertson and Eugene Smith. They pick these animals very carefully and they're really beautifully depicted. So I'm doing sort of not even a full mini cross, but I wanted to show the complexity here by having these like you would have in a cross, the main situation and circumstances crossing us. So the first one is the Tower in reverse. And this is like a termite or an anthill in this deck. And it's being struck by lightning, or you can see the smoking rubble here. So this is something obviously breaking down foundations. We're probably familiar with the Tower, you probably are. This is saying we're not looking to remake everything. We're not looking to reinvent the wheel because we've been doing that. And this do-over is not a complete renovation. It's not a complete erase everything and start over. That's not what we're talking about. Chances are the most drastic parts of this transformation are things that you've already gone through. And that might be fortunate because a lot of this stuff, we're still seeing the ripples play out, and maybe we are not even ready to handle more stuff. And these are things which may have happened with or without your desire. Some of them you may have caused, but some of them may have just happened. So it is being crossed by the Seven of Cups, upright. So the Seven of Cups, you can see all these gorgeous dragonflies. And here are the cups filled with all of their options. And what's interesting is, in this particular deck, look at the stuff in the cups. There's not just one thing. There's enough to share. These cups have a little something for everybody. So if you take this cup and take a drink, or you take a berry or something from this cup, there's still some left for someone else. This isn't about feeling like what you grab is not available to someone else. It isn't like that. This is a card I also associate with the moon in Pisces, and Pisces is a more universal and sharing kind of a card anyway. And the moon in Pisces has to do with your dreams. I think of sevens as cards of mastery. They ask you to evaluate your own mastery. And in this sense, you're asked to master your desires or your dreams, or to consider how you've done that. And so that asks the question, as you've transformed everything, are there dreams that you've left behind that you didn't mean to? As we say, did you leave money on the table? Did you leave behind something in a cup that maybe you still want? So that's that kind of do-over energy. Or are the things that are offered to you in a do-over situation things that you don't need going forward? And maybe they were even a dream of yours at one point, but they're not your dream anymore because your dreams have changed. So think about the situation where someone shows up, maybe in a romantic sense. They've moved across the country, took a new job. That was their big transformation, this whole big transformation. But now they come back around and say, you know what? I wish I had you with me. And they ask you to go along with them. They're not saying they're going to come back to your side. They're saying you can join them on their transformative journey. And you may have to decide, does that suit me? Maybe in the meantime, you've transformed your whole life enough that you go, actually, I'm doing a whole new thing over here. And I don't want to join you on that, your own transformation, but maybe you really appreciate that they showed up and maybe that heals your heart. You know, there's so many different complicated ways this can work out between people. And I want to be clear on that. And that's kind of why I'm advocating for myself and for everybody else. Just be compassionate and realize what it costs for someone to come forward and ask for a do-over, because you may need to do the same thing, so that even if you turn them down, even if they turn you down, if you try to do it in a respectful and honest and compassionate way, you may feel better coming out of it, because this is about your dreams. And I do think this is about trying within the transformation that you're making for yourself to have your cake and eat it too, to really say, are there pieces of my dreams I left behind that I want to put in? Are there pieces I need to get rid of? Okay, so in the past position, we have the moon. So we are facing December 3rd, the time of the retrograde, a full moon in Gemini. Gemini is a sign which looks like these two pillars with a crossbar. And here we have the bird, which I think of as a very kind of Gemini thing, the owl. And we have the moon and its reflection. So we were trying to figure our way through the path as best we could, trying to separate reality from the reflections and from our impressions. But things were likely confusing and difficult, even though we were trying to proceed with as much wisdom as we could. What's happening in the future is the Queen of Swords. And I thought this was very much a bookend for the King of Swords, the eagle with the crown and the sword that we got in the last reading. So, or the last reading I did using this deck, which I think was maybe the Scorpio new moon. I'm going to screw that up. Anyway, if you look 2 videos back, here it is. Anyway, the Queen of Swords is this wolf who is also in command here and looks very calm. So again, we're moving toward these positions of greater certainty after times of tremendous confusion. And she really is a take it or leave it kind of character. And she has the ability to evaluate what she wants. You know, she really is the Minor Arcana's Justice card. So she can separate out the things she wants from what she doesn't want and make those decisions. And that may be what you're asked to do when you decide to go get a do-over or to ask for one, or you're confronted with one. But the idea with this card, which came forward in the book, is that she has some urgency to her. This Mercury retrograde is going through the end of December, right? And Saturn is going to change signs at the end of December into Capricorn, which is a lot firmer and more solid. I think we're being asked in December to get solid on some of these things. So all of this transformation that's been in initial stages, and we've been taking early steps forward, and now we're going to refine, and we're going to go back and grab things that we were missing. We realize we, went on our adventure without a compass, and now we want to go grab one. All of that is great, but we're probably going to be making those decisions, not necessarily all the actions, but we're going to need to make those decisions in a more firm and lasting way before the end of the year. Because next year, we are going to be living this transformation in very concrete ways. So I think that's kind of what's going on, this Mercury retrograde. Try not to let the inconveniences bum you out too much, and I hope that they're not too upsetting. Those inconveniences can be chances for upgrades. Do-overs can be chances for upgrades, as long as you're sure it really meets your dreams and your truth and your ethical center. Anyway, I think that's it for this Mercury retrograde, and rock on with your bad selves. Thanks for your likes, your comments, and your subscribes. And yeah, okay.